And no eyes and mouth. All right. Ready? Okay. So my name is Brent Burmaster. I'm Executive Director of Souls Harbor. I've been here since 2009, 12 years. It's September of 2021. I've seen almost 2,000 guys come in and out these doors in the last 12 years, almost guys. Souls Harbor is set up, we started in 1956 dealing with homeless men with addiction problems. And we have a very long history and legacy here at Souls Harbor. You can go to our website, soulsharbordallas.org, to learn more about that. My background is I was got a engineering degree, computer science engineering degree from the great University of Oklahoma, who's rated number 3 in some polls for him right now. And anyway, I graduated, got a job immediately at IBM, and I worked there almost 30 years. And then I came here in 2009. So, you know, I did many different jobs for the last, 10 years. Was a sales executive. First here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and then our division headquarters was in Raleigh. I had the entire United States, and then I flew around the world helping customers. So it was kind of a cool job. So that's on the business side. On my addiction side, I started out in drugs, and it led me to disaster really quick. At that time, meth wasn't really around. It was amphetamine, speed for you guys in the 70s. And then I switched to marijuana, and then I became alcoholic. So I had a wide range. So how did I keep my job? How I kept my job at IBM was I'd wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning and run 6-8 miles and get out in the system. And when I went to work, nobody knew. Nobody could smell the alcohol on me. My breath wasn't alcoholic because I was puking it up and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I've been able to maintain my job forever. Yeah, I've only had 2 jobs, okay? IBM and this job, and that's it. That's all I've had. And anyway, so I've been blessed by being here, all right? So I don't like to get political. I don't like dealing with crap, but I have close to almost 5,000 friends on Facebook, all right? Most of them are you guys. And that's how I can tell whether you guys are in your addiction. Because you know what? You go offline. You quit posting. And it's a clear sign. I mean, it is a clear sign of you guys being in your addiction. And now I start praying for it. I say, hey man, I hope, you know, whoever it is, Joe or Freddie or whoever, gets out of their addiction and back into the light. So, anyway, the thing that, I'm not on Facebook a lot, I used to be on a lot, but when I get on there, it's this stupid vaccine thing, all right? So I decided what I'm going to do is, I'm going to talk about science, but really I'm going to talk about literature first. Why literature? Okay. How many of you guys believe that the world is flat? Like it's flat like this? Or is it like this, a globe?
Sure it will.
Globe, right? But it's on the internet that it's flat, so it must be flat. No, seriously. You know, you have all these concoction stories, all these conspiracy theories, all this BS out there, and people are, yeah, well, believe the world, and look, this America, you can believe whatever you want. And I'm fine with that. But when it starts impacting the United States, I have a problem with that. All right? I'm a patriot. I'm a guy that cares about this nation. So, how many of you guys love literature in high school? How many guys graduate from college, first of all? Okay. What did you graduate in then? What did you graduate in? Associate what?
HVAC.
Oh, okay, HVAC, air conditioning and heating, which is great. That's a great profession. How many guys like literature? Okay, if you like literature, okay. What's the difference between a fictional book and a non-fictional book?
True.
One's true, one's not. That's true. But what's inside the book of a nonfiction book that isn't in a fictional book?
The footnotes.
Footnotes, right? So here, just to show, this is a book about science, all right? I'll talk a little bit about that. But just, if you open up these pages, there's about 30 pages of footnotes in there. And what is a footnote?
Sources.
It's sources. It's referring to another book, right? A nonfiction book. James Patterson, probably a few of you guys know James Patterson, right? Great author. My dad loved James Patterson. My dad didn't read a lot like my mom. But you know why I like James Patterson? His chapters were like 2 to 3 pages long, right? And so he loved it. But is there any footnotes in this?
No.
Okay. So when you're, whether it's a conspiracy theory about 9/11, the vaccine, about pedophiles, about anything, if you want to know if it's true or not, check to see if there's any books out there. All right? Is there any nonfiction books out there? And whether it's the answer. Is there any? On the vaccine. Yeah, well, this one talks about the vaccine in a positive way, but I'm talking about it negative. But what happens? America believes everything on the internet. They believe the world is flat. So, not to look like an idiot, what you should do is do research, right? And figure out, is it factual or not? I mean, I have people debating stuff. I go, show me the book. Oh, there is no book on it. Then it's fiction. It's fiction. So, anyway, where am I going with this? Where I'm going is, we have, I don't know, how many guys? 10, 11 guys, David? Around there roughly, that are vaccinated. You have a week to find that book of why, if you don't believe in vaccines, to find the book that isn't vaccinated. And I'll read it. I read about 40 books a day. I mean, not a day, a year. 40 books a year. I'll read the book. And then we'll argue after you read this book. All right? And for you guys that think they're science gurus, this is a scary book. It's called Codebreaker by Walter Isaacson. There is some, and this is like talking about 3 or 4 year technologies that's going on in science. With CRISPR, I don't know if you're familiar with that, gene editing. It's scary, really scary stuff. If I was you, I'd be worried about this than a vaccine. How many guys know what polio was? Okay. Stephen, what was polio? A disease, a virus, right? And it affected all little kids. Right? How many people know anybody in the United States affected by polio right now?
No.
Today?
One of our experts.
Why not? Because everybody took the vaccine. Everybody and I was one of them. Right?
Yeah.
Right? Mark was one of them. Right? In the 50s, we took an ice cube of polio and digested it. And there wasn't any question. There wasn't any debate. We wanted to help this country. We wanted to make sure this country kept going and going and going. We didn't have these idiots saying, well, that's a bad thing, and all this other crap. Right? We got that today. We are being stymied by idiots. By idiots. The people who are against vaccine aren't the scientists, aren't the doctors. They're kids I go through high school that were barely passing high school. So am I going to reason with somebody from high school or somebody that has a PhD in science? Or a doctor? Who am I going to trust? Well, maybe I should trust them. Maybe I should do my own research. I did here. Again, I would suggest this book. So, where am I going with this? There's 10 guys aren't vaccinated. You have to be vaccinated. All right? So you have a week, you get me the literature, the book, a nonfiction book, that has footnotes, so I can read it. And if you want to read this book right here, I'll order more copies. All right? So that's where I'm going with this. I'm sick of what we went through the last, 3 or 4 weeks where we had, how many guys did we have up there? 8 or 9 guys that were quarantined, and most of them were what? Not vaccinated. We could avoid this whole debacle if those guys got vaccinated. But for some strange reason, they believe the internet is right, the world's flat, I believe everything on the internet. Read. Anyway, that's it. Kind of dig.